Variants are a powerful feature in Figma that allow you to create multiple versions of a component based on different design variations. With variants, you can create a single component that can be used for multiple purposes, such as button components with different text labels, colors, or sizes. Alright, this is simple. We're going to be using a button for this purpose. And when creating a variants for buttons, we're talking about the different features of that button, which cuts across the main primary button, the secondary button, the tertiary button, the one without fill or stroke. We have the different states for the buttons: disabled, click state, hover state, active state. All of these can be done using variants. All right, and you're going to see how this works as we proceed. So here is how variants work in Figma. Create a component. So you have to first create a component. To create a variant, start by creating a component as described in the previous answer upward. So this is from our last lesson. We created a component and used that component to create different button sizes. All right, and in today's lesson, we'll be talking about variants, and I'll be showing you how to turn this button into um, variants, into different variants. So let's enlarge the screen first off, drag this downwards, and with that downwards, all we need to do next is select a button. If this wasn't a component, you can click up to create a component, and then we can proceed from there. Create a variant. To create a variant, select the component and open the properties panel, then click the create variant button. This will create a new variant of the component that you can customize. All right, so this is all you have to do. Once you've created a component, all you need to do is go up here back to where you click to create a component, and you would see it has changed to what? Add variant. All right, so click on it and it will add a second button for you to be able to edit, and you're going to see it in the property channel as variant 2. You can change its name after you've customized the button to your decision or your like. All right, you can add more variants by clicking the plus sign. So all you have to do is click this plus sign, add variants, and you can add as many as you wish. All right, but for now we will stick with 4 of this. Right, so let's get back to our course. Customize the variant. Once you've created a variant, you can customize its appearance and properties. For example, you can change the text label, color, or size of a button variant. All right, so by doing this, you'll be able to have different types, because okay, so this is the reason why we create variants. We create variants so that when we're working on a design, we can be able to change that particular button to different states to let the developer understand what happens next on hover on a click state when it's disabled. For instance, a product is out of stock, the button should not be active. It should have a disabled state so that it doesn't cause frustration where a user would still click on the add to cart and then it will take the user to the description page. But with a variant button such as the disabled state of the button, the user would know that that button is not clickable, and it will create familiarity in their mind because they've seen such buttons in some other products. And this is how to customize the different variants that you've created for a button. Now the first one we have, we're going to change it to a primary color. So I'm going to make it the brighter blue, and I'm going to change it to primary. I will just type primary in the current variant property 1, change it to primary, and then the second one we're going to give it a stroke. So I'm going to give it a stroke, and the stroke I'm going to make it 2 in weight. So this is basically the weight of the line that would be as a border around the button. All right, I'm going to change the text by selecting this style and selecting the color. I'm going to change it to the purple color, and I'm also going to change I'm going to close out the fill. I'm going to remove the fill so it becomes a secondary button, and then change that color also to the primary color. So by doing this, we now have two buttons, and these are the two buttons. If I grab this, hold Alt and move it out, I'll be able to change it over here. You can see we have those different states of the buttons by doing this, so we don't have to duplicate and start creating them afresh. We all have it in one. But let's proceed. So the second one, I'm going to change it to secondary, and then for the next one, I'm going to change it to a hover state. So type hover state in the property channel, and then the last one is going to be a disabled state, but I'm going to change the color to the blue. All right, and then drop the opacity to 15%. All right, I use between 15 to 30, so let's try 25%, or use 30. So 30 is fine. You can use this, or you can use gray. So most people tend to use gray for it. So with gray, you can put it at 40, or let's say 70%. All right, so this can work, and this primary color reduced to about 30% can also work for it as well. So for the last one, we're going to change it to a disabled state. All right, so this is disabled, this is hover state, this is the secondary, and then the primary button. And with this way, you can be able to use this in your design. So let's design something. All right, we already have designs upwards, so I'll grab one of it, duplicate it, and bring it into this file. Right, with this, all I have to do next is very simple. I would grab this button, I delete the button first. You can duplicate it from here by holding Alt and duplicating it, or by going to the assets channel and dragging the button from, where is it, the third, this one, variants, bring it in and bring it into this file. We can delete this, bring this downwards this way, and you can extend the button as well. Extend it to where you want, center it, and then I can apply a drop shadow for it. Right, so we have this button, and what we can do next is to select this and change it. We can change it to a disabled button, we can change it to a hover state, we can change it to a secondary button, we can change it to a primary button. All right, and this is how you can use a variant in your design, and it makes designs very seamless and faster. It makes it really faster for you to do whatever you have to do within few seconds. All right, so this is how to do this. I'm going to just make some adjustments to this design, and then we can proceed. Right, clip content, and we have this. Cool. So you can also prototype this, but I'm going to show you how this works when we get to the interactive component. I'm looking forward to that because it's a very interesting topic, and I would love to use that for this particular design to show you how this works in real time. You can also manage variants. So you can manage your variants by opening the variants panel, which displays a list of all the variants for a given component. From this panel, you can add or remove variants, rename variants, or edit their properties. So this is the major one. So from here, you can do whatever you want to do to the variant, and I'll show you more when we get to the advanced component feature. You would get to see how to use different buttons and gestures to control these variants, including with buttons, with icons and the rest of them. So looking forward to that, and until I see you again, keep creating magic. Now remember before you go that variants in Figma are particularly useful for creating flexible and customizable components that can be reused across different pages and screens in your project. By using variants, you can save time and create more efficient and consistent designs.